journey into the matrix of the mind, stretch your imagination, and challenge reality. Abnormal realities are beacons for the imagination. What society deems abnormal may be more real than we think. This is Abnormal Realities with your hosts, Ron Phillips and Rocky Stucci.
You know, Brother Phillips, is kind of weird, not having you next to me in the studio, seeing your quick little 007 finger point to get rocking and rolling, brother. Man, I'll tell you first, hey, ladies and gentlemen, before we even kick off the program, we already know what night it is tonight. It is Thursday evening. It is Thanksgiving. On behalf of Ron Phillips, myself, Odyssey Radio, Abnormal's reality talk radio show, we just want to say, you know what? Life can kick you, man, and life can knock you down. It can do a lot of things and it can leave a lot of scars. But no matter what, always make sure you get back up. And no matter what kind of turmoil that's going on in your life, make sure you always keep very good perspective on the things that are most important, the things that are right there in front of you. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of us, happy Thanksgiving. We love you all. We appreciate you all. Enough of the mushy-wushy. Ron, if you're in front of me, I'll probably give you a little hug right now, but you're not, hey, so man, I'm not going to. You know what I mean?
This is going to be a fantastic show, guys. We've been talking about this for weeks and months, and it's finally here. We are very, very honored to have the cast of Destination Fear with us tonight. Let me read this brief intro. Destination Fear is a paranormal documentary featuring Dakota Laden and his team of paranormal enthusiasts, including his sister Chelsea Laden and friends Tanner Wiseman and Alex Schroeder. The team takes to the road in an RV, visiting a number of reportedly haunted and paranormal hotspots across the United States, testing the limits of human fear. And if you haven't watched these shows, then you really don't know what fear is, because these guys actually separate into their own places and sleep by themselves in these scary ass places. Let's just go there. I watch them. I tremble. I just don't think I could do it. I mean, we've been chasing ghosts for years, and I just don't think I could do it. You ready? Let's bring them in.
Brother.
Ladies
Let's
and gentlemen, please welcome the cast of Destination Fear. Hi, guys. How are y'all?
Good. How are you guys doing? Good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Man,
to you
happy
guys.
Thanksgiving. Alex, Tanner, Chelsea, all from my native area of up north in the frozen tundra of Minnesota. And you know what? We all wised up a little bit, folks. We went to where it's a lot more sunnier and a lot more warmer because, we had to, Matt, I tell you something. I know you guys are busy. This is a huge time for you guys. We're going into season 4 of Destination Fear, and I want to say this, and then I'm going to give the floor to you guys here. I've been involved in this. I actually started following you guys way back when you guys did this 3-part documentary when you guys went to Annie Wilder's house, and it's weird. It's
way.
All the way, bro. Well, because I know Annie really well, and I investigated the house, and so when you guys investigated it, I mean, it was phenomenal. And then the spoof reels that you guys used to do, I loved it, man. Here, this is how twisted we all are. I'm just gonna. Yeah, dude, this is how twisted it is. Is that when somebody comes up and tells us that some ghost rams a tongue in their ear, the first thing we say is, "Man, can we come over? Can we come over and check this out? I want to come over." But it's been this pleasure watching you, because I've always had this frustration in this field of it becoming more of a game and a joke and more about t-shirts and then it is about the actual experience and the psychology behind the experiences. And you guys brought a whole different perspective. You have brought a whole different realm, and I'm speaking from experiences. I'll go to places like the Hill House. I'll look upstairs and I'll be like, I'm not going up there by myself. I will not go up there.
He threatened to go there. He told everybody, all of our listeners and viewers, that he was going to go up there by himself. He got to the bottom of the staircase and went, "Nope, I'm out."
Hey, we've been in the same boat. We've been in the same boat, man.
So tell me, what is it, man? I know mine. I've accumulated a fear over the years just because we learn that this is real. Yep. And then we learn that we're up against things that we really don't know what we're up against. But you guys have put yourself in some serious stuff. Like Chelsea, I remember in season 1, I think it was episode 9, when you heard the woman's voice in the hallway.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah.
I died 4 times watching that. I swear to God, I did. I felt that, man. Bring us through that. Bring us through these experiences.
So, I mean, when you go to these locations, you never know what to expect. You know, before each location, we read a packet, and on that packet consists of the history of the location. It also includes some of the stories that other people have experienced. So every time we go to a location, we know, you know, the history and what people experience, but we are going in there kind of clean slate. We have no experiences. And you don't really know what to prepare for. It's not like you know what's going to happen. So there's the audible that you can experience, there's the physical, there's the visual, and you just don't know what that night's going to bring.
Right.
And I think when it comes to that episode you're talking about, it was so palpable because it was so human. And you can hear things all the time. And you can discount it. You can say, okay, that might have been an animal. That might have been,
Right.
you know, the building shifting. But when you hear an actual human voice, especially when it was a female voice, and I'm the only female on the team. So I just think when it comes to that moment, I didn't, my reaction to fear was simply just like, I couldn't even move. And
Oh, that would have been me.
Yep.
it just was too scary. And that was actually like my breaking point. I think when tears are shed, it takes a lot to get there. But I was rocked that night.
I remember
that.
Rocky texted me and said, here, you got to watch this. He said, go to this point here. And I'm like, hell no, I'm going to watch the whole thing. So I got to that point, and when you panicked, I panicked because you could hear the voice. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the one where the guys come running at you or come running to you. Yeah. It was freaky weird. But that's not the only time you guys experienced that, right?
Oh, yeah.
No.
We've had a lot of experiences that we look at each other and we go like, like what Chelsea was saying before is just like, there's a lot of times where you can go like, okay, maybe the door moved because some of the windows are broken out and there's wind displacement, or there might be something that can be a little bit explainable. But like when you have stuff like what Chelsea experienced, or what happened at Sweet Spring Sanatorium, like there's things there that we all look at each other and we go, what was that? How did that happen? What could have caused that? And when you have no answer to that, that's when we all start freaking out. And it is a human emotion to get scared at those points because you can't explain it. And those unexplainable things make people very uncomfortable. And I think that's where we get ourselves into. And like, we try to experience that for other people that don't have the availability to go to these locations that have always wanted to. Because, I mean, we've been fans of like the paranormal and paranormal shows, and we've always go, oh man, if we ever got to Waverly, if we ever went to Villisca Axe Murder House, my goodness, I'd just walk right up there and I'll be perfectly fine. But then we actually get the opportunity to do that, like the story that you guys were sharing with Rocky. You get to that point and you go, no thanks, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yep.
And that's okay to have that feeling, you know. That's probably more normal, right?
Yeah. Totally.
You know, I've had that. I seem to have that feeling a lot more because I had a physical experience where this energy, and with a couple of my buddies, and one of them's an archaeologist who has a dig site in Egypt. So he's very intellectual, but very spiritually open. And we all had this experience. It traumatized me. It literally changed me on everything I do in my entire approach. And my biggest thing I really want to give you guys kudos for is the frustration of not being able to sell the emotional part. And so when you watch these shows, it's like I can empathize with a lot of what you guys are going through. And I know we have a lot of people that are armchair like quarterbacks, you know, and they watch some of this stuff. I would straight up, just like we said, something in the Hill House, a tiny little house in Mineral Wells. You know, I wouldn't go upstairs by myself. You guys are going in some of these places that are proven time and time again to have some extreme activity in the dark, by yourself, with like nobody to protect you at all. And people don't understand what it takes just to get to a location where you're supposed to sleep, let alone be there by yourself. So what does it take in your minds to be able to get through these situations when you are truly alone?
Honestly, yeah, Alex, do you want to go on this one?
I mean, there's really no preparation that works, at least that I've found.
Right.
I found myself even months before we go out on the road, laying in bed going, "Oh my God, in weeks I'm going to have to be doing this by myself in a haunted location." Like, it never gets easier. It really doesn't. And the thing that's even worse about season 4 is Dakota had this bright idea, well, dark idea, I guess, to take away our flashlights. That is the one little bit of security that we have, at these locations. And he goes, anytime we're alone, if you're doing a solo walkthrough, if you're sleeping alone, we're not going to have any flashlights. I'm throwing all of you guys into the complete darkness. And that's something that we didn't even know of before we were actually at the first location. And so
Alex, man, dude, there's absolutely nothing that sounds exciting about having no flashlight in a place at all.
The only thing you get then is the infrared in your camera lens, and that is freaky in and of itself. Rocky and I both have been on Alex, I don't know how you do it, dude, because you operate the camera and you're partaking in everything else. How do you keep your mind focused on what you've got to do when things are flying off the shelf, so to speak?
That is such a producer question to ask.
It is, isn't it?
I love it.
Honestly, sometimes my mind just goes blank for a second and I think about just getting the shot. I mean, the best example is season 1, episode 7, when we were at God, I forget the name. Fairfield County Infirmary. And we were doing solo walkthroughs, and I went in by myself. Yep. And at the end of the hallway, a jail cell door, the one jail cell, started to slowly open in front of me. And in my mind was racing. I wanted to run out of there immediately, but something in my head told me to get this on camera. Otherwise, no one's going to believe you.
Yep.
And so, like, you see in the footage, I'm like freaking out, and then I stop really quick and just stand there, and then I run out of the building. I don't understand it. I don't know how my brain worked that way. Like, where I was just like, all right, I got to get this on camera. Otherwise, everyone's going to think I'm a lunatic.
It was so funny because we're all standing there, and we look at the footage and everything, and we just go, why didn't you run? Why didn't you leave? And he just goes, I need to get the shot. I needed to prove that I'm not crazy.
That is a good cameraman for you right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, definitely focus on the shot. But well, Chelsea, they put you in a couple situations too, and I kind of had to yell at Ron last week because we were actually having a little breakdown. We were talking about you guys coming on the program on who we thought was the bravest and who we thought was the least bravest out of the 4. Do you guys maybe have a guess who we think is the bravest out of the 4 of you?
I'm guessing Chelsea. Usually what everyone says is Chelsea's the bravest. We get it. We look like wimps.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use that word for any of the 4 of you. No,
not at all. But I was trying to actually understand the psychology behind that because, why is it? Is it because do we expect men to be braver or because, I don't know, I come from an old school Italian family and I'm afraid of every woman in my family, So if there's like a demon in my basement, I'm sending Grandma Stucci. That's who I'm sending. I ain't sending Grandpa. I'm sending Grandma, So,
I love that.
But that's the challenging part, right? I remember like sometimes you look at Dakota and I get that look from a sister, it's kind of like, okay, when this camera shuts off, we're having a little conversation, but when you get into locations where there's things that happen to women, to put yourself there by yourself, and I know how you gentlemen already are protecting Chelsea, and I admire the hell out of that. Putting yourself in situations where there could be some more dangerous ghosts that could do more of a violating thing towards women. To do that is a very courageous thing to do, and to do it for the sake of, evidential, paranormal, try to get to the truth and then fight your fears at the same time. What does it take for you to be able to walk down these hallways of these crazy asylums and prisons by yourself where bad things happen to women? What does it take?
It's a really good question. I think it's changed and evolved over the past 4 seasons. The first season, I genuinely needed the guys to pump me up. Like, I seriously can confidently say that I couldn't do it without them. And I almost quit on episode 1, season 1. So I think the first season, it took friendship and trust in each other. And by season 4, I still had that, but now I'm thinking through the lens of our fans.
Yeah.
What do the fans want me to do? Do I want to walk through this tunnel by myself? Heck no, absolutely not. Do I think the fans would have a way better experience if I just buck up and do it? Yes. So I think the fans actually weirdly encourage me without even being there. Just through that lens, because I want to make it the best I can, and usually that means I have to do something I'm really not super comfortable with.
Right.
Well, facing the fear is, I mean, that's how you guys got started, was facing the fear. And I want to play this here in just a second so we can talk about it. But the Trail of Terror documentary, I've got like a 1-minute trailer that I want to show everybody just to kind of give them an idea of what you guys have been through. So stand by just a second. Let's watch. Okay. That they picked, they had to have picked the best parts of all of that, because that freaked me out just watching it. But is that what got you guys started in this, was just going out as a team and doing the ghost hunting and stuff like that? Or did Dakota talk you guys all into this and go, I'll pay you lots of money to do it?
No,
Definitely not.
definitely not the latter. So actually, as kids, like on weekends, we would love to like Google like, what is an abandoned location, what is a scary haunted story and a place that we could go to. And all of us, we would drive up to these places. And I mean, we went all over Minnesota. We started going to both the Dakotas, Wisconsin, and Iowa. I mean, it was one of our things that we just loved to do. We loved chasing that adrenaline rush of being absolutely nervous and scared. And so like years went down the road, and we're not in high school anymore. Me and Chelsea, we've graduated from college, and Dakota goes, hey, I got this idea of filming this documentary about us going to these scary buildings like we used to do as kids. And I go, awesome, man. Like that sounds great. Where are we going? Like, what places? And he goes, oh yeah, no, I can't tell you that part. That's the part where I'm like, no one's going to know where we're going. I go, okay, so then what are we doing? Well, we're going to go in there. We're going to explore for the entire night, sleep there. And then at the end of the night, we're going to draw out of a hat and sleep alone.
Okay.
And I go, dude, we haven't stayed in one of these buildings longer than 2 hours. What makes you think we're going to do a whole entire overnight, let alone sleep alone? And he goes, this could be great. It's great content. And
now he sounds like Rocky. Oh, it's going to be great.
Yeah, exactly. So then we
You're lucky you got the full story. You got the full story right off the bat. I did not get the full story.
Oh.
I was given
the full story?
pieces. No.
Oh, yeah.
I was told that we were doing what we did when we grew up, and that was exploring together. And that was basically urban exploring, where we all get scared, basically run out of there, and that was it. Dakota didn't tell me the real, true, like what we were really doing on the show until like a week before we left.
That's a pretty big detail. I'm just saying, it's kind of a big detail, like when you got to go to a basement or in a death chamber of a prison and be there by yourself for 4 hours. I'm probably going to want to know that, and probably going to want something in writing, just saying.
That's not the fine print.
I started to say, though, it might have been better for me to not know it until the time came to do it, right?
Hey, check this out. All right, I got to tell you guys this, and I'm sorry I'm diverting a little bit, but, when we went up to the Hill House to investigate, I got to tell you guys, this was Ron's first investigation. This is how prepared he was. The dude brought extra underwear and pants just in case he crapped himself. I'm not even lying.
That's smart. That's
not true.
Smart,
you did say bring a change of clothes, did you not? Because we were going to stay the night. I didn't know I was going to be scared crapless to go in there and change clothes.
No, I didn't tell you to bring extra underwear,
man. Bro. I don't know. And I get that you guys have a crew, of people that are there, but they don't go into these places with you. Am I right?
We
No.
we
You're right.
get completely dropped off. So like
Yep.
our RV, our producer that's on the show, the cameraman, like you'll see those shots when we walk into these buildings from far away of us
Yep.
walking into that building. And then once we actually get in there, because Dakota is our executive producer of our
Yeah.
show, he's now our on-site producer. So then everyone else leaves and goes,
Yep.
and we are quite literally stuck there by ourselves for the entire night.
Now,
Well,
do they monitor you guys from afar in case you need something?
One person stays up for the night, but
Yeah.
they're like at their hotel.
Yeah,
Like it's not
yeah.
like they're anywhere near us, not messing around or anything. They're gone, and it's literally just
Probably
Dakota.
sleeping.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, my goodness. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a long time.
No, yeah, we
Well,
have
I'll tell
Yeah.
you from a producing standpoint, from a production standpoint, you guys are better than the best as far as I'm concerned for what, the footage that you shoot, the way everything's done. So kudos to you guys for that, because
Ron,
it's
these
top
guys
notch.
used to put together. You go watch some of the stuff these guys did. I don't even know how old you guys were. When you guys are doing like the Ghost Adventure spoofs, and you guys are going to Annie Wilder's house and that school in Iowa. But you guys are obviously a lot younger. But I mean, this is like when I produce a radio show. I have everything in front of me. You can put a blindfold on, and I can hit every button when I need to hit it because it's second nature. No different than you guys walking in with cameras. It's what you guys have been doing since you guys have been kids, So it's just like everything's perfect,
Right. And I got to attribute that to, all of us. I mean, we've been doing these videos since we were, like what you said, we were kids. I mean, when we did Ghost Boys, I think we were 16 years old because I was the one driving. And then from there, I mean, even before that, I mean, we did YouTube videos every single Tuesday. We would come out with a new YouTube video, and we've been doing that since we were like early high school. So we were grinding on our filmmaking skills. Dakota has been grinding on his editing skills, and like everyone has been just, it really is a huge compliment to us because we are there by ourselves. We are the only ones filming. And the fact that you guys can see that we are conscious enough to have good shots, to have good B-roll, to we don't cut away and do a voiceover at all. We're storytelling in the moment. So the fact that you guys actually see that's a huge compliment to us because we've been, lack of a better term, busting our butts to like actually do that and showcase that. So thank you guys.
Well, look, you guys are professionals at it. There's no question. And season 4 starts the 25th, this Friday. What is it? 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central.
Nailed it.
Just look at
Travel Channel, Discovery
TV
Plus,
and then Discovery Plus. Yeah, that's where I always catch.
Well,
Discovery
congratulations on 4 seasons, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank
It's-
you. Thank you.
It's wild.
That's a big deal too. I want to ask each one of you guys. This is a little bit deeper, just because, I believe in evolution of what we do. If we truly are into what we do, we love what we do, and the experiences, and we're absorbing them, there has to be some kind of evolution. I know I have, whether it be my relationship with God through this process, or whether it be having some very traumatic experiences that made me kind of step back. I gained new fears. I lost some fears. I healed physical things, really weird experiences from the paranormal, but there was an evolution process. What I thought 5 years ago was different than what I think now. What I thought 10 years ago was way different than what I think now. And trying to understand the world, it's broadened, and I got more questions, but I evolved to become a better person from these experiences. Now, you guys are going into season 4. So that means you have 3 seasons just from that Destination Fear TV show of locations you've been to, not including all the other locations you've been to off the air. This has been a lifelong journey for you in one form or the other. Explain to me ways that you evolved. I'm sure you've had traumatic experiences with paranormal. Don't know if you've ever been followed home. Don't know if any of that has ever come home with you, but I want to hear about how it's changed your life for the good or for the bad.
I mean, I can start just, I have, 2 different worlds. I have 2 different lives. I'm obviously on the TV show, and then my other world is I'm an optometrist. So I have a full-time job outside of the show. And one of the things that really, I would say, transformed me as a person is just overcoming certain fears, not even like the fear of the unknown, the fear of paranormal, but being able to face things that scare me and know that there are actually things that I can overcome that I never thought that I could before. So just this show alone, if you told me 10 years ago that I'd be doing this, I would say I would actually put a lot of money on the fact that I would not be doing this because it was just something I actually thought I couldn't do. And so now I look at like life a little differently. If I'm actually scared of something, I think that fear actually ignites something in me that's kind of like a challenge now. And I'm like, okay, am I physically in danger? Maybe. Is it worth it? And then, I feel like I was able to overcome a lot of things, outside of the show too. So I have evolved.
Chelsea, you're kind of fearless as it is, right? Aren't you aren't you a hockey player too? I mean, you.
That's so funny you say that. Yes, I played professional hockey. I played Division I hockey, and everyone always thought of me as this kind of tough chick, and the paranormal kind of broke me. It was like, oh, she's not so tough, but it allowed me to grow in other areas. So yeah.
Chelsea, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. We're part of this celebrity softball game every year. So we get to hang out with some really cool athletes down here. And I have not found one of them, not yet, to come along with us.
No,
want to go.
They all panic.
They talk a lot of shit, man.
Yeah.
When we
ask them to go with us, they panic. And they're like, oh, I just can't do it.
It's like, man, dude, you're 400 pounds. You kind of stink and you wear these freaking pads and you go break guys' bones for a living and you can't come to this little haunted house with me for 5 minutes, man. Damn. Oh, all right. Alex, how about you, brother? Because, you coming in, you came in from the production side and then you really came involved too, man. And I was actually going to bring up that time when that jail cell door opened because that thing weighed a ton. And I was actually going to take my head off, man, because you're right. A lot of people would freak out instead of getting the footage. And this footage is everything why we do what we do. Without that footage, everything's just a story, right? What about your evolution process through this, man? Has it been a journey? Has it been fun? Has it been disastrous? The paranormal can do weird things to your life,
I mean, like we've said, we've kind of done this our whole lives, going into abandoned, haunted places. So just from the beginning, like I recall so many times where I'll walk in and be like, all right, I'm out after 2 minutes. I'm going to go wait in the car. You guys go have fun. That's enough for me. Or just, not even making it past the first room in the building. So just the evolution of it, being able to now walk through a building on my own and spend the night there by myself. I never would have thought that I could do something like that. And I have to agree with Chelsea. It kind of pushes through to other aspects of life where you think, I did this, I pushed through that, even though I was completely terrified. I didn't think I could do it, but I did it. So maybe now I can push through this adversity and conquer it and get through it in every aspect of life.
Brother, that's it right there. We're starting a new show and we are interviewing people that have gone through this adversity. And you said it right there, is that we live a life where we create limits. And whether it be in the physical realm or else dealing with the spiritual realm, can I make it through that room? Can I make it to the basement? One time I went to the Valissa axe murder house with 5 women. And they're like, hey, Stucci, go on up and put this camera up in the attic. I made it all the way to the door. I never went in. I never went in the attic. You know what I mean? I just didn't want to go in there. It kind of freaked me out. Yep. But it's that creating limits, whether it be as an athlete, we create them or we don't. In real life, we create them or we don't, or in paranormal. That is a huge lesson that we can distribute to people that we learn through this process, dealing with life after death, is that we can become a better person. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Super true.
Now,
so true.
How do you guys, there are people out there who fear, the potential of fear just, it terrifies them. It paralyzes them. Did you guys experience any of that growing up where you were paralyzed by fear? Do you still experience it? Because you could, like Rocky said earlier, you can take the biggest, baddest, defensive lineman and tell them you want to take them on a ghost hunt, and they will freak out. And it's funny to watch, but then there are people who have mastered their fear, who know how to handle the situation. And I guess until you're put in that position, you don't really know what you're going to do. How did each of you, handle that when you first started?
Oh, man, I mean, season 1, like when we went to Sweet Springs Sanatorium, Tanner and Chelsea were hearing voices in the basement when they were sleeping alone down there. They were separated by a huge long hallway, so they weren't near each other, but they heard the same thing. And they called me and Dakota down to the basement. So we're all in the same area, and we hear this yell, this just painful scream. And so to say that fear paralyzes you, my knees buckled and I dropped to the ground. Like I literally just dropped to the floor. I don't even know if I yelled, if I screamed, like everything in my world just stopped and I collapsed to the ground. So like this stuff still will paralyze me. Like the fear definitely will do that to you. But it's kind of a humbling experience in a way. Like, I don't know, like once you go through something like that and then another occurrence happens, you get a little bit better at managing your fear, at least in your brain, of kind of pushing through that and being able to come out on the other side. But man, if I didn't have Chelsea, Tanner, and Dakota there, there's no way I could do this. Like we all help each other out in so many different ways. I think that's really important when it comes to fear, is to have people that you trust and care about and care about you as well with you to go through these experiences. Because if we didn't have each other, I don't think any one of us would be able to make it through a night alone.
That makes sense. Tanner, have you ever had a situation that scared you so bad that you really had to lean on the other three to talk it out?
Oh, I mean, it's like almost every single night when we do these things. I mean, there's so many times where you go into these buildings and it takes just one thing that you can't explain that just completely takes over your thought process. You can't get it out of your head of like that one thing. And every single time we jump on the RV and we get back on the road, we joke around, we talk, like we try to like explain like what I was feeling, what I experienced. And then after that, it's just like, all right, let's put this location behind us. Let's start joking around a little bit. I mean, even in season 4 on our second episode, like this isn't a big spoiler, but like there's a point in time where I get so scared that I just flat out leave and I go outside and I wait for the team to all come out of their sleeping arrangements and come get me, because I just was not comfortable in that situation. And like that's the thing I think people really need to realize, is that like it's okay to be afraid. It is okay to have fear. That is a human emotion. Yeah. And it's perfectly fine when you feel uncomfortable to just get out of that space. Like, we always say like it is nice to like try to get, be comfortable being uncomfortable, but there is a limit to that. Like you shouldn't push yourself too far. And I mean, echoing what Alex said, is like, if we didn't have our group together, I don't think any of us would be able to do any of this, because it's such a draining thing spiritually, emotionally, physically, that you really need to lean on everybody just to get through it. Because we're doing this whole road trip in a month and a half. Like if we didn't have the support of everyone giving high fives, saying nice job, way to go through that. I know
hugs.
I know that sucked, but good job. But we couldn't do it. And I think that really translates on screen, and why our show is doing well is because this is a friendship that we do have.
Yeah.
I'm a lot like you when it comes to, once I reach like a certain threshold of like where my body feels the fear, or I feel like I'm being pushed back into a corner, you have that trigger switch to where you go from being super scared to I'm looking for somebody now and I'm gonna have a conversation with you. You know, I'm gonna come up in your face. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Dude, I feel that, man, because that's the mode I get to. That's my defensive. You just unleash the monster. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how you survive. And I want to be honest about something. You know, that one time, I think it was in season 3 where they locked you in that room and kind of used the big dresser to hold the door closed.
Right?
You know, that was kind of messed up, bro. I'm just saying. Oh, my that thing, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, just was talking about how we're all friends. I might take some of that back now you reminded me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, man. Oh,
Yeah,
you guys
that one
taking
was
little
definitely
pokes.
wild. You get to a point where you get to some points where like I mean I've had multiple times where me and Alex are just yelling down the halls because we're so scared. We just try to macho up and try to like break through that. But then there's some times where it just breaks you down, and that's you can't do anything about it.
Well, that's that struggle between the psychological warfare and is it actually a paranormal event, you know, because then you start getting that mix with the fear and everything else involved, you know?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious to know, because Rocky and I have talked about this a little bit, and Chelsea, you mentioned earlier the auditory aspect of things and hearing and seeing, you know, apparitions or what have you. Have any of the 3 or 4 of you ever been physically attacked or touched?
So it's weird you say that because I hadn't up till this season.
Oh,
and
okay.
As far as I know, like obviously you can have like a muscle spasm and think something, but this was like different. It was at the Winchester Mystery House, and that it's an awesome location, by the way. If you ever have the opportunity to go, it's such a fascinating spot. But I was sitting, we were all separated, and I was sitting on a chair in Sarah Winchester's room. And I felt like something touched my shoulder. And I verbalized it, said it to the camera. And the closer I replayed that multiple times, and it actually almost looks like something moved my hair.
Oh,
Actually moved my hair, and I don't know, it could have just like fallen or whatever, but it was the first time I ever had a physical interaction with what I feel was something paranormal.
Well, but the fact that you thought you were being touched and your hair moved is
I felt like it was on my shoulder, which was so weird. So weird.
Wow.
I don't like the touch stuff. I don't like the physical stuff. I don't, you know, I asked Ron one time, I says, dude, if you woke up in the middle of the night and maybe there's a ghost next to you doing some things, you know, would you stop it or would you just kind of finish, you know? And Ron got mad at me and he didn't talk to me for a week. It's just like, you know, I don't know. He didn't give me an answer.
Sometimes you have to think through the answers before you give them to Rocky.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You know, I get in trouble all the time on the show. So I don't know, Ron, how much time we have, but I want to make sure that we let everybody know because tonight is Thanksgiving, folks. Tomorrow night, Friday, is the kickoff of season 4 of Destination Fear. I cannot wait. I love this program. I love these guys. Native from my homeland of Minnesota. I'm sure we could talk hours about, you know, certain locations that we've all investigated. But give us the laydown. Give us what is the mission? What is the direction of season 4 that's going to be different than possibly season 1, 2, and 3?
Season 4 is all about embracing the darkness. So we've said before, Dakota takes away our flashlights. And we have a theory that if, you know, you show fear, that more paranormal stuff is more likely to happen. That it feeds on that, or it's activated on that. And so we have said for years now that our flashlight is like our security blanket. It's our one thing that keeps us comfort when we're all by ourselves. We're going back and forth to this light. And, you know, you can try to make sense of things now that you have a light on. But now, this whole season, we have zero flashlights when we're by ourselves. And it is I will say it is the most difficult season we've ever done because like we were saying before, you get frozen. You hear something and now you really don't want to walk down that hallway that much anymore. There's things that happen that you try to like debunk or try to like just get a sense of it and you just can't. And
See, in my mind, Tanner, my mind goes to, I'm in a dark hallway. I have to, number one, remember how I got down this hallway in the dark. And number two, how to get out of the hallway in the dark. And if I touch something going back down that hallway, my body's going to release a lot of things.
I knew you were going to say that. Damn it, Ron.
I don't know how you do it. Wow.
It was definitely difficult, that's to say the least. I mean, everyone could talk about it, but everyone has had we call it a flashlight moment because we wish we had our flashlight. And
I bet. That's a damn fact.
We definitely missed it this season.
Brother, there's locations even during the day with all the light on and extra lighting on, and I could have like my invisible force shield on. I'm still nervous to walk into certain locations. So no flashlight thing. It's like, I don't know, Dakota. I don't know if you and I can be friends anymore. You know, these ideas are getting a little out of control. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I was going to ask, I forgot what I was going to ask you guys. It'll come to me the second we end this program. What did it have to do with? It had to do with season 4 or season 3? I can't freaking remember. Here's a question. Now, you guys did do some overseas locations. We're setting up a plan right now. We're going to be going to Egypt, and my buddy who's the archaeologist is going to get us into 4 of the most haunted locations in Egypt. But you guys been to, I think, was it Ireland? Is that where you went to? Or?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the difference in hauntings when you're in an older, historically richer country compared to something like right here in the United States?
Man, it's really tough to pinpoint what exactly is haunting the location because of the hundreds, sometimes thousands of years of history behind it. We went to a place called Spike Island, which was a massive prison. At some point, it was a hospital, right?
It was a hospital.
It was like a refugee, kind of camp for people during the famine.
Yep. It was a fort at one point.
Yeah, it was a military fort. All these different layers of history throughout its hundreds and hundreds of years in existence. And you can feel that energy when you're there. You feel all the different layers, and it's kind of indescribable, really. Maybe you guys can describe it a little bit better than I can.
You get a knock or you get a voice, you have something happen, and you go I don't know if this is coming from the hospital time. I don't know if this is the fort time. Is this a refugee here? It's so much more difficult because there's so much history with that. We even went to Loftus Hall, and it was the first time that we've ever dealt with a legend. And this is because it was so old, and the history and the story was so old that, no one knew what actually happened here, but everyone knows what happened here. And so it was just
crazy.
One of those. Yeah, isn't that nuts? Yeah, we were dealing with folklore. It was just, and it's one of those things where you go to places in the United States and something has happened in the last 100, 200 years, and you walk into that certain room that's supposed to be super haunted, and you can feel it in that room. You walk down the hallway and it's not so scary. But with these places, there's so much time and so much history going in these places that it's every step you're taking, you feel something is going on or something has happened in this particular spot. It was the most wild thing of all time.
The funny part about that is people in Ireland really wanted to come to locations in America. And it's just fun because you want what you can't have, and you want what's less tangible for you. So people were asking us all about our big locations. And so it was interesting to kind of hear what they're interested in seeing. And a lot of them had to do with our country. So.
Unfortunately, America just doesn't have the history
RV.
that these places have,
It's true.
I don't know if... Go ahead, Chelsea. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, once, we do have a good historic building and we get to a certain point, it gets renovated, it gets repurposed, it gets torn down. It's we aren't the best at preserving history here.
That's a fact. That is a fact. I don't know if my camera froze or not. My screen froze over here, but what is...
You look good.
Am I still going? Can you still see me okay?
The picture still looks good. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You look good.
You're frozen.
It might be
You know,
frozen, but you
Tanner-
look good.
Tanner, I'm going to tell you something, but you look good too. You know, I'm just going to tell you right now.
Hey, my guy.
All right, so my bucket list location, as a matter of fact, I'm talking with them right now. I want to go to the Goldfield Hotel. What is your guys' bucket list location that you want to go investigate anywhere on the planet?
Anywhere on the planet? Oh my gosh. Mine would have to be the castles, just castles in the UK. I would love to do that. Mine's simple and sweet. How about you guys?
My one of my last bucket list locations for here in the States would be Alcatraz. 100%. Like,
Yeah,
it's
without a
just
doubt.
such a cool prison. So much history to it. So much haunting claims to it. Like, yeah, that is the one location left in the States that I need to see at some point in my life.
And I really want to go to Dracula's castle in Romania.
Oh,
I
bro.
just want to go there so bad.
Oh.
It's an itch I haven't been able to scratch. I mean, I've always loved, the Dracula movies. I've loved all that stuff. And then just knowing that there was a person that this book and this character was based off of. And he has an actual castle that he did weird and messed up stuff to people inside there. There's a dungeon that was used for what dungeons are supposed to be used for. It's just like, I just, if I go there, I will be the most happy and scaredest person in the world.
Dude, this guy went and he put the heads of his enemies on sticks and he put them in front of his castle just to send a message.
Dude, it's messed up. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like those stories where you can read, you just read it on a piece of paper and it gives you shivers. Like, that's when you know it's a great location. It's a messed up story. And it's like, oh man, I want to go there so bad. It's actually unreal.
All right, dude, I'll make a deal with you right now. I'll go there with you. And then you got to come to Egypt. You got to come to Egypt with me, and we're gonna go investigate King Tut's
Oh no,
tomb.
he twisted my arm. I got
I think it's a good deal.
It's the tombs.
I think that's a good deal.
Yeah, it's the tombs that I'm looking forward to. So, I mean,
Nice.
you talk about
So
history.
lucky.
There's some serious history in those, right?
Yeah, there's
100%.
actually a spot right by my buddy's dig site, Gebel El Silsila. It's actually where they got the main stones for the pyramids, and it's 100 miles away. But there's a spot in the desert that not one Egyptian will go to at night because of the haunted activities. And
No way.
makes me super hungry, bro. I literally cannot get there quick enough. Josh Gase was out there a couple of times. I know that. So. But yeah, it's a whole different type of world. You go to European countries and the hauntings, you talk about the hauntings there, then, the North America and, just the Americas. And then you go out to like the Middle East and Asian countries and everything's looked at and viewed and experienced differently than what it is here. And it's just like, I want some of that, I just want just a little touch of it. That's it.
That's going to be so awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm jealous.
I know, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Ron, how much time do we have left?
We got
brother?
about 2 minutes. Are you going to reconnect?
No, I'm not going to reconnect. Everybody, no, we're good. I just want to make sure. Every guys, let us know now. We have the kickoff of season 4. What's coming up? What's coming up for Destination Fear? You guys have any projects going right now, or what's going on with all of you?
So season 4, Destination Fear, November 25th on Discovery Plus and the Travel Channel. We have worked our butts off for this season. It's an 8-episode season. It's definitely, I know we say it every year that it's our best, but we definitely topped ourselves by far this time. I mean, every single episode is like, it just gets better and better and better, I feel like. And yeah, we're just really excited for it. Like we've been sitting on it for so long. We've all seen the cuts. We know exactly what happens. And the fact that we haven't been able to even share about it. I mean, this has been one of the best weeks of our lives because we finally get to talk to people about what we finally did just at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, we kick it off with Crescent Sanatorium, and that is pretty intense because we actually end up going back to back. So episode 1 and 2 is at the same location. We've never done anything like that before. Usually when we hit a location, we're done, it's over, we're on to the next. But this location is absolutely massive. So it definitely did take 2 days for us to be able to really. We could probably do more episodes there. It was so big, but
I was
super.
just saying, if you do a back-to-back, if you do a back-to-back episode, there are some things going on,
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
Nailed
Well,
it.
we are all absolutely looking forward to it, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us. We know that things are busy for you right now on the interview circuit, but when this thing fires off on Friday night, we'll be there in front of the TV watching along with everybody else, because you guys are the best of the best, and that's the way we see it.
That's right.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate you
Thank
guys.
you for having us on here today. This was awesome.
Not a worry.
Honestly.
No, absolutely grateful. Grateful for everything you do, all that you represent, and bringing integrity back into the paranormal field. I think that's the best. Hey, look who's back!
And he's back! Let's go!
Don't worry about it. I know people. They took care of me. It's okay. But Destination Fear, folks, it's going to be tomorrow night, November 25th. Look them up on the Travel Channel and Travel Channel Plus. That's where I catch them. Man, Alex, Chelsea, Tanner, I love you guys. I appreciate you.
And give Dakota a big hug for us, please.
Big
hug.
We're sorry we missed it.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. On behalf of myself and Ron Phillips, I am Rocky Stucci. Ladies and gentlemen, until next week, may God bless you. May God bless America. Good night.
See you guys.
Take care, guys.